Well, the Strait of Hormuz now completely open during the ceasefire with Lebanon, according to Iran's foreign minister. That is the news of the hour. The impact of this so-called double blockade, the Iranians and indeed the US, will not be immediately alleviated. And that impact went well beyond oil and energy, of course. According to the UN, a third of the world's fertilizers goes through that vital waterway, which is critical for global food security. Jorge Moreira da Silva, the person tasked by the UN to move essential goods through the Strait of Hormuz, said in a statement, and I quote here, "Civilians are, as ever, the first and most to suffer. Children, older people, ordinary men and women, they pay the heaviest price in conflicts not of their making," and they may be thousands of miles away from the Strait of Hormuz, of course. Mr. Da Silva joining us now from New York. Reopening the strait, not like turning on a tap, but do just give me your sort of instant take on what we have heard in the past hour from the Iranians on, quote, completely opening that strait during the Lebanese ceasefire.
Thank you, Becky. And it's literally, as you said, an instant take, because we just heard this news. I think it's important to welcome the announcement. If it is materialized, and I stress, if it is materialized, it represents a positive first step towards freedom of navigation, but it's not yet freedom of navigation. I noticed in the announcement that there are some conditions still being put there regarding the need to get authorization from Iran and about specific corridors. So this is a positive first step. Let's benefit from that to get a more lasting and permanent reestablishment of freedom of navigation. But as you said, the UN was ready and is ready to front load all efforts in an area that is somehow overlooked, which is fertilizers. Everyone talks about oil and gas.
Yep.
But very little focus on the impact, the disruption of fertilizers that can trigger a massive humanitarian crisis, food insecurity. So I really hope that this announcement will get the full opening of the corridor, of the strait, but we shall not delay on all actions needed to bring the relief for the people, particularly to prevent a massive humanitarian crisis due to the disruption of fertilizers.
Jorge, you make a very good point. The Iranians are talking about the opening of the strait on a coordinated route as identified by Iran. It does sound as if not much has changed, to be quite frank, but let's take this as a positive sort of moment and some progress as we look towards the wider US-Iran talks to end this war, possibly this weekend. Meantime, what is the UN doing right now to try and secure the flow of goods like fertilizer out of this region where I am and to the places around the world that need them most?
Well, the Secretary General asked me as head of UNOPS in a task force that includes also UNCTAD, International Maritime Organization, and International Chamber of Commerce, to develop a mechanism to build confidence and transparency on the commercial flows of fertilizers and related raw materials, such as ammonia, urea, and sulfur. Why? Because, as you said, Becky, 1/3 of all fertilizers go through this region. Unfortunately, we realize that it's not only the countries that are highly dependent on fertilizers import from the regions that are being affected. Today, you already have a massive disruption of fertilizers, even produced elsewhere, due to the shortage of urea, sulfur, and ammonia, shortage of LPG and LNG. This will have a massive impact on food productivity and therefore triggering hunger and starvation. So the UN we designed a mechanism that go through deconfliction, monitoring, verification, and we are ready. So we were just lacking the political will. I really hope that the mechanism will not be needed and the full reestablishment of the corridor will not require this mechanism. So it's good news if we don't need a mechanism. But if there is no freedom of navigation, at least we should have the fertilizers flowing.
You're going to need one. So you helped develop a neutral mechanism to move goods through the Black Sea during Russia's invasion of Ukraine. I remember this, it was at the height of the grain crisis. What lessons from there can be applied here? What have been your learnings very specifically?
Well, we are building this mechanism of fertilizers based on the experience from the UN on the Black Sea Grain Initiative, but also what UNOPS manages in Yemen. So all vessels that go from Djibouti to Yemen through the UN VIM mechanism. Also in Gaza, UNOPS manage the so-called 2720 mechanism to approve all aid that enters to Gaza. So the lessons learned are the following. Transparency, accountability, monitoring, reporting helps to enable both commercial and humanitarian flows. So this kind of mechanisms do not replace member states, governments' responsibilities, but can enable through higher level of trust an operationalization of this kind of logistics. So it's an enabling mechanism that builds trust, and I really hope that we can benefit from the experience in previous operations.
So, Jorge, I recently toured the Dubai humanitarian warehouses, the biggest sort of global hub in the world. Aid agencies scrambling to find alternative routes during this conflict. It has been at significant cost, and these agencies are under significant strain given the funding limitations at this point. How are you funding operations at this scale?
Well, the entire UN system, I would say the entire multilateral system is strained today. In the most difficult times in the last 70 or 80 years, we are getting a significant reduction of ODA, official development assistance to humanitarian and development, and we are also seeing violation of international humanitarian law. So it's not only the development finance that is getting reduced, it's even the way we operate in difficult contexts that are becoming more and more difficult. So it's very important that we bring all solidarity and all ambition in this important moment. And it's also very important that we deliver on the results. At UNOPS, as you know, it's an agency that is demand-driven. We just do projects on the ground, and our financial model is very much triggered by this kind of demand-driven, on the ground, getting things done, not being dependent on voluntary contributions or assessed contributions.
Understood. Jorge, it's good to have you, and it's fascinating to hear what is going on behind the scenes. Like you say, you develop something. If it's not needed, that's great. If it is needed, it's really important that the legwork's been done. Good to have you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. After the